Hello and welcome to Goddess Resurrection. My name is Britta and I am your host. And today's episode is on coming back to yourself. And this is very much in and around twin flame perceptions or journeys, because I've now gotten to know some of you that think you are or know you are on a twin flame journey. And also, when it comes to certain aspects of this journey, this is what we need to dive into more because there's a lot that is unspoken about. There's a lot that is actually being judged. Also, this is not just for twin flame journeys. This is also for other relationships because every relationship is a mirror. Every relationship is here to teach us, to guide us back into ourselves, hence coming back to yourself. But before we dive in, hello, my gorgeous. How are you? I've got my hands up. It means breathe with your eyes open. You are the one in and you are the one exhaling, and don't let it take you into that automatic trance-like relaxation. No, we're practicing to have you be in your breath, have you be the one controlling your breath on the inhale and the exhale while your eyes are open, while you're having a conversation, while you're socializing, while you're in a meeting. That's the goal. When you're in your breath, you are in control and you are connected to your soul and your guidance. Good. Let's dive in. Twin flames. Twin flames. Wow. It's such a huge topic. Let me start by reminding us all that this earthly experience is all about relationship. Everything is relationship. Your relationship, my relationship, his relationship, her relationship with money, with family, with friends, with the body, with food, with technology. Everything is a relationship. We're here to learn through relationship with substances, relationship with learning, relationship with the ocean. Everything is a relationship. Everything is about us souls coming here into these human bodies, into these human incarnations to learn, heal, grow, and ascend. That's what we're here for. That's why we keep coming back, to learn our lessons, to return to our light. Because when we're healing and we're growing, that's what that is. That's the awakening process. That is the journey into ascension. That is the journey into embodiment of inner goddess. That is the journey into new earth. So many different names to describe the same thing. And so twin flame journeys are a very unique setup. But they're telling me to also mention that you don't have to be on a twin flame journey to ascend. Nobody has to be in a twin flame journey experience in order to grow, heal, ascend, manifest the new earth, embody their goddess. Okay, it's not dependent on twin flame. Twin flame. Thank you. Twin flame is a very unique setup. Remember, twin flame journeys are such that you, the soul that you are, split. You split before entering. And so you are actually playing two characters, two human incarnations at the same time. Because your twin flame is your soul as well. It's you. It's exactly you. It is your soul split into two parts, playing two human incarnations. at the same time. These two incarnations do not have to be a man and a woman. They could be two women, it could be two men. Same sex relationships can also be twin flame journeys. The ultimate purpose of the twin flame journey is to return back to yourself, coming back to yourself, coming home to yourself, which means you are returning to yourself as light, as the divine, as the extension of source, as the soul, as the goddess that you are. That's what we mean by saying coming back to yourself, coming home to yourself. And so the twin flame journey is a very unique setup because it is you, your own soul, but having had separate upbringings, having had separate conditioning, having had different kinds of wounding and trauma, but very similar. So therefore, the triggers are uniquely set up to trigger you to the deepest levels. Oh, no kidding. Because it's you. And because even though separate upbringing could be different countries, could be quite the age gap, which is oftentimes the case with the twin flame journey too, could be different religions, right? There's always something that seems to be not of the collective acceptance, whether it's different religions, an age gap, or different cultures, right? There seems to always be something that also needs to be overcome. But the conditioning and the trauma is very, very compatible to this deep, deep, deep trigger. This deep trigger into what? Into self. The union is not the goal. The union is not the ultimate goal because a lot of twin flames actually are not set up to actually come into union. Let's talk about that for a second. So if this is the case, right, the twin flame journey, then you, the soul, that you've chosen to do this, your highest intention for this setup is that you are meant to choose yourself. You are meant to come home to yourself. You are meant to go so deep into yourself that you will come back into your light, into your divinity, to embody your inner goddess, to embody your divinity, to embody your sense of self-worth, to embody your deepest connection with your soul and guidance of self. That is the ultimate goal. But you don't necessarily come in with the blueprint of coming into union with your twin. It could be, but some twin flames don't come in to end up in union. They come in for the awakening. Because when we encounter our twin, it is always a very deep awakening. It is a deep, earth-shattering, soul-scrunching, deeply activating and triggering, ego bursting, dipping into the dark night of the soul journey to get out all of the lack, all of the limitation, all of the fear, all of the lack of self-worth, the disconnect from self, all of the ego illusion, all of the ego distortions, any and all of the addictions, any and all of the karmic toxic patterns that were learned and are still present in the soul. So the goal of the twin flame journey is this deep, 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 deep trigger into awakening. And from there, once that is cracked open, to have the individual that is playing one or both of the sides of the twin flame to go through deep, deep, deep renovation, transformation. That's what it is. It is breaking away the illusion, the old paradigm, the old walls, the old perceptions, the old identifications, all of it. And so generally, the twin flames do that separately. Once the meeting has occurred, and the awakening has been triggered, then both kind of like go into their corners and focus on their healing and their dark night and the dissolution of the ego and the shifting of the identification back into self as soul, etc., etc. The reason why I was called to talk on this subject is because I know some of you are already in relationship, already together with your twin flame. And I know some of you are feeling, what's the right word? Feeling upset or feeling unhappy or feeling not fulfilled or feeling, well, I don't know if this is really what I can do for the rest of my life, right? And so remember, the twin flame journey is not about you coming into union. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be in union. Many twin flames are not in union, and that was designed that way. So you are not failing. You are not failing if you are saying to yourself, I'm done, enough, I can't do this anymore. Because every time you get to that Popeye moment, every time you get to that hammer coming down where you say to yourself, enough, I can't do this anymore, I'm done. Every time you say this to yourself, what is actually happening is you are breaking through another layer, more deeply being triggered into yet a deeper level of self-worth, self-love, self-respect. Because coming home to yourself is that. It is you honoring yourself above all else. It's you choosing yourself above all else. It's you knowing your worth above all else. And whether he's the twin flame or a false twin flame, because they exist too, or it is somebody that you want or think or perceive to be your twin flame, it doesn't matter. If you are feeling that you are not being treated in the way that you know yourself in your worth, in the way that you know yourself in your authentic truth, in the way that you know yourself in your embodiment, then it's important that you say, I'm done. It is important that you say, enough. And you can do that while in a relationship, because I know some of you are married. And it's okay. You don't have to get divorced. You don't have to like break up the family. What it really means is you drawing a boundary and then sticking to it. You have to draw the boundary and you must stick to it. Even if you are in an existing relationship, whether it's twin flame or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You have to continue to own your worth. You have to continue to choose yourself and your self-love and self-respect and self-worth to deeper and deeper and deeper levels. And when he wants to hold on to old behaviors or old ways or old patterns that are dishonoring and disrespecting to the relationship, you have to say, no, I'm done. I'm not engaging. I'm not indulging this any longer. This is a no-go. and you mean it, and you draw that boundary, and then it's up to him to respect your boundary or not, right? That's what it's all about. Also, when it comes to this entire concept of relationship, there is this saying out there that we bring toward us the mirror, and twin flames are mirrors, right? But that doesn't mean that you're exactly that mirror. So if you're with somebody who's narcissistic, it doesn't mean that you're narcissistic. When your mirror is being narcissistic, that is now the mirror for you to not allow that any longer. See, the mirror is not about you having to see everything you want. The mirror is about you having to see what you are still allowing and what you are still tolerating and what you are not allowing and not tolerating. And so this is for all of you in relationship, because there's continuous growth now for every relationship, not just twin flame. The reason why I was called to talk on twin flame is because there is still that feminine energy, that paradigm of patriarchy conditioned into us to be the good girl, the patient feminine, the good divine feminine that waits, because that's what a good divine feminine does. She waits for him to be ready. She waits to prioritize a karmic. She waits because he still has to learn his lesson, and she's patient and she doesn't take it personal. Not. Twin flame journeys, and this is again very important, is not about the union. Remember, twin flame journeys are about you, me, everybody, every female coming home to herself, to her divine self, to her goddess, inner goddess embodiment, to her innate connection to her worth. And so that's why feminines, not everybody, but a lot of the divine feminines are in this paradigm still of, well, I gotta be patient. I have to wait for him, right? Oh, but I know that he's meant for me. And so this is exactly where you are not choosing yourself. And you're actually keeping the union in stagnation, because you're placing him and his need to learn his lessons and his timing to prioritize anything but the union before yourself. You're not choosing yourself. You're not actually choosing yourself. You're actually not coming home to yourself. See, these are the deeper layers, the deeper levels where us women are almost unconscious to still putting him first, to still putting his excuses first, to still putting his need to take a few more spins around the karmic block first, to put his timing to get himself ready before your own well-being. And just because he's a twin flame doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. Let that sink in. Just because he's your twin flame or she's your twin flame doesn't mean you put them first or their needs. It doesn't mean you put your life on hold. That's putting the other first, even though it's you. right? Even though it's you, it's still a practice. It's still a level of consciousness that you have come here to learn, that you have come here to practice, that you have come here to own. And the only way that you can deepen this ownership and this embodiment is by you, no matter what. No twin flame gets to disrespect you. No twin flame gets to be more important than you yourself. You do not wait. You do not put your life on hold. You do not tolerate bad behavior. You do not, just because they're your twin flame. This is a huge misperception, and a lot of twin flame unions are hung up because the feminine is still to the deeper levels stuck in the patriarchal patterning. So this journey is about you. You choosing your self-worth, you choosing your self-respect. And just because something has worked for the last 20 years of your marriage, or just because something has worked for the past 2 years of your relationship, when you feel it's not working for you any longer, when you feel this is making you feel very unhappy in yourself, when you feel that you are just not right with yourself, anxiety, nauseousness, nervousness in the belly, just not feeling happy, just not feeling right. Okay, it doesn't mean you're a failing. It means you have to up your standards. I know he won't like it. I know they won't like it, whether they're in a male or a female body, doesn't matter. I know. That's okay though. See, boundaries don't mean you have to be mean. Boundaries don't mean you have to be cold. Boundaries don't mean you have to be disconnected. No, on the contrary, you upping your standards and you honoring the divine goddess that you are, you honoring yourself in your worth, in your needs, in your self-love. That is what this entire journey is about. And it will never end. If you don't do it with this person, you'll do it with the next person. The universe will continue to bring around that which will trigger you in what you need to not allow any longer, and that which you need to not engage any longer, and that which you need to not indulge any longer. It doesn't matter if it's with the current person. It doesn't matter if it's with your twin flame. It doesn't matter if it's with a future person. The purpose to this incarnation is you coming back to yourself. Fullness, fullness, wholeness, wholeness. Knowing who you are and how you deserve to be treated. And some of you I know are waiting for your twin flame, right? Waiting for that person to reach out, to take that first step, to break the silence. And again, if you are putting yourself on pause, if you are not continuing to live your life for yourself and make your choices and schedule yourself and your life in your timeline, you are stalling yourself and you're stalling the union, whether it's with that person or with somebody else, because maybe you're not even supposed to be with your twin flame. Maybe you're supposed to be with somebody else, right? Because If you've been waiting for years and this twin flame still hasn't come forward to talk to you, to break contact, to break lack of contact, right? To actually to express himself and share how he actually feels. If he hasn't done this in all this time, then he isn't ready. And it means you must stay authentic to yourself. And if you're meeting somebody wonderful that wants to take you out, and you're feeling a connection and you're feeling a nice feeling, you say yes. You go, because no show, no communication, no truth. What does that say? What does that mean? There's nothing. So nothing gets nothing. There is nothing to mirror. So you have to let go of this concept of you owe it to the twin flame. You owe it to them to wait and put yourself on ice. Goddess never puts herself on ice. Not with an expecting relationship and not with an existing relationship. You stay in the flow of your life. You stay in the timing of your life. And another thing, for those of you who are waiting, see, like I've said before, don't make excuses, right? Don't make excuses. If your twin flame thinks that material gain is something that they need to focus on first before the divine union, again, he's unconscious. He doesn't even understand the relevance and importance of the divine union. And so, which again means he's not ready. He's unconscious. You move on. You flow with your life. You do not wait. Okay? Because to place anything external, anything materialistic above the divine union, it just shows a level of ego control. That means he's not ready, because it's the divine union that will grow the mission, the abundance, the life. That's what is meant to create the new earth. One more point. So, if and when, and this is from the man's perspective, this is from the masculine's perspective, right? So there's now a lot of men that are also saying, well, you know, she wants me to just, you know, do everything and be everything, and, you know, and she gives me nothing. And so just because you have a vagina doesn't mean you just get to receive everything and give nothing, right? And we've spoken about this before too. A goddess is healed. A woman that is not healed isn't a goddess, right? We have to heal in order to be open and vast and big and strong enough to hold the frequencies of this kind of a consciousness level. Just because a woman is a woman doesn't mean she's a goddess. In our goddess embodiment can only occur after deep purging and healing and true authentic alignment. So again, just because a woman is a woman doesn't mean she gets to just expect and just want more and more and more and more and not do anything and not give anything. That's not a divine feminine either, okay? This is both sides. Any woman who wants true and deep and connected and kind and supportive and fun and true love has to heal herself into that level of receptivity, has to heal herself into that level of ownership, has to heal herself into that level of frequency. Without healing, that level of frequency is not accessible. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether we want it or not. It is about coming home to self, and it's about going deeper and healing and growing into the self-worth. So a woman could know her self-worth, but if she's only in that state of give me, give me, give me, give me, I deserve, I deserve, I deserve, she is not a divine feminine because she's disconnected from her heart. This is egotistical. This is toxic behavior. So very important to really learn the distinctions between what it really means to rise into the frequency, into the consciousness of a divine masculine or a divine feminine. It takes real commitment, real homecoming, inner union, being in the feminine, being in the masculine, owning both energies, working with both energies consciously. It's very important to understand and really discern between what we want and what we deserve, but then also to be that authentic embodiment and alignment, to be able to receive it. There are so many more things that are coming in right now, and there's so much more to talk about, but time is already up again. Time flies, doesn't it? So make sure you don't get attached to the idea of a twin flame or a specific counterpart and them having to be that. Because when you're in actual deep surrender and you're in actual deep alignment and trust to the divine orchestration, that's when you are on your highest timeline, and that's when everything will unfold. It'll unfold to your highest and greatest good. You don't need to attach, you don't need to think, you don't need to do anything to make it happen. All you do is go deeper and focus on yourself, on you coming back to yourself, choosing yourself, choosing your self-love, choosing your self-respect, choosing your self-worth, and walking in it and being it and embodying it and living it. And that is all that you have to do, my gorgeous. That's the journey. And that's what every relationship journey is about. Okay, good. As always, please leave me comments. Let me know what you want to ask about. Ask me anything. Connect with me so I know what it is that you're still wanting to learn about or struggling with. So share with me so I can respond to it. And as always, I am sending love and light blessings to you and yours. I am grateful for you, for your time, your energy, your presence on this channel. Such love and big hugs and blessings to you and yours. Ciao.